Thanks for the question. First and foremost, we need to be clear about the problem we are trying to solve. And when I say the problem, it's about understanding what are the pain points today, understanding through proper diagnostics. Because I know that prescription without proper diagnosis is malpractice. So, how do you look at what's working, what's not working, what are the gaps? And then finally, how do you prioritize what's most important to you from a strategy point of view? What's most important from your associate point of view? And once you've done that diagnostics, that's when you start looking at what are the problems that I'm trying to solve for. The problems that you're trying to solve for could be at a macro level or they could be at a micro level. Then you need to prioritize in terms of what will get maximum benefit for the organization in the short term and in the long term. Once you've been through this analysis, you've taken some time to plan it, that's when you start looking at putting yourself in the shoes of the associate, in the shoes of the user, and looking at where are the pain points today. Once you have understood that, then you start looking at casting your net wider to look at what could be possible options or solutions. And you need to keep in mind that there would not be just be one solution. You need to be open to technologies which don't exist. I'll give you an example. So some markets in the world have straight away moved from landline phones to hand phones, which is cell phones. They didn't go through the normal routes of pagers and then CDMA and then GSM. They straight away moved to GSM. Markets which have moved to GSM recently, they are not going through the same learning curve of second, 2G, 3G. They're straight away moving to 4G and 5G. So therefore, you need to be cognizant that technologies exist that you may not be aware of. So cast your net wider, speak to people who belong to that ecosystem. And once you have identified a few solutions, run prototypes. Remember, keep in mind that there will not just be one solution, perfect solution. There will be multiple iterations and be comfortable with that. At any point in time, if you do an iteration and it is not addressing, be quick to disown that and move to something else. So essentially, keep that agile mindset when you are experimenting. And when you have experimented it, ensure that it is integrative. It gets integrated in all the processes and the systems, and people are aware about it. And once that is done, ensure that you don't take your eye off the ball to look at the user experience. If you're talking about employee-centric experience, ensure that you continue to get feedback about what's working and what are still pain points. So you continue to calibrate and recalibrate because, being the best, becoming the best is a continuous journey. It's not a full stop. So be in that mindset. So three things. First, the topic is very timely because, the pandemic accentuated our move from employee-centric approaches, which are very rigid, to people-centric, human-centric approaches, which are bespoke and which talk about individuals at the heart of all that we do. So the topic is very relevant. And as we talk about human tech, as we talk about AI, I think this is very timely and relevant for us to take a pause and reflect of how the transition is taking place. Secondly, I think the conference and the entire session has been extremely well organized. It's very professionally done, and one can see world-class events, and this seems to be one of those. And lastly, the panel of speakers, very impressive. I think you've been able to attract some of the industry stalwarts who know this topic and they're practitioners, so they can share use cases which will be helpful to the audience.